questions for now, because we're going to invite our next guest. The next session will give us a status on smishing. And the person that will deliver that presentation is the coolest cat in our industry. He's also known as our leader. Is Dario Betti. He's the CEO of the Mobile Ecosystem Forum.
Meow. We'll have to explain the coolest cat later. You all have an invitation for tonight at El Mamon. We're going to have dinner there. It will all be explained, maybe, later. But on a serious, thanks for the panel and before for doing so much of my work. Today we were talking about smishing, or I was going to talk about smishing, but so much of a good work has been done, and not just about smishing, but you mentioned everything else we're doing. The Future Messaging Program started 5 years ago at MEF. The collaborations with GLF and many other associations would really like to try and inbuild the trust in the mobile ecosystem. And within that, we created the Code of Conduct, which you just mentioned. We have a specific trust in enterprise messaging brand for all the code participants. And recently, we introduced the SMS Sender ID Protection Registry. My, role here is to bring you possibly some good news. What is smishing? We've heard, but what is Sender ID and how does a Sender ID help? Because it does help people out there in the market. Those are some of the examples about Sender ID, of a specific Sender ID, which is the alphanumeric versions of your, rather than using a mobile phone itself, a mobile phone number itself. Unfortunately, these identities can be misused, and people rely on that. They trust naturally the logos, the brands that when see once, and they are more likely then to click and share the information, including their bank information, their login details. Fraudsters will then take and empty the bank account. Now, we have seen it, and unfortunately we've seen it in lots of countries. It's spreading country by country. Fraudsters are kind of rolling it out as a product almost. That's the first page of the Times of London, so in the UK, where we also have the Irish Times in there, or La Vanguardia to cover Spain. But this is now really a global problem, as we've heard by the panel. But I did promise some good news, and let's see if I can really deliver. These are some of the results from our first pilot, but now it's not just a pilot, in UK. So the SMS Sender ID has been rolled out there, and over the first year we've seen one of the merchants, it's a bank, reporting a 70% drop in fraud, and there was a monthly savings of 1.5 million. And there are other examples. So much by now, given that we rolled out, I think with 60 to 70% reduction in smishing fraud, so the amount of money that is lost by banks to their customers, is possibly a good number. It's definitely not enough. We're not here to say that the threat of smishing is gone, but it's showing how the industry working together, as we've heard, is actually able to stop some of that, and possibly will do more and more, and to get even to a higher level. So in terms of our confirmations on what is happening, it's not just the banks that are saying that, but we got a proof point presenting some of the data, which we love because it referred in UK specifically the MEF Sender ID in terms of how much misuse has been happening there for the Sender IDs. So all seems to point at the same story. We can do better. If you're not protecting your customers in one of the countries, do think of doing something, whether it's with MEF or not. We don't necessarily want to be helping you in all countries, but you can do something. There are templates, there are things we can do. And yes, definitely you can talk to MEF itself. We are here to help. So far, you might have seen that we already have discussed the launch in the UK, but also in Singapore and in Ireland. Now, as of today, I'm very glad to confirm that our soft launch is official, and we can add a fourth country there, which is Spain itself. So we are looking at the fourth country, this country where we are today, looking at working together to limit the impact of smishing. And that's probably part of what we are saying here is working together does pay back. The discussions was talking about working groups and sharing information before. That's exactly what these people do. And MEF is coordinating in its role. We have 3 mobile operators supporting us. We have CPaaS and SMS aggregators working there, 9 financial brands, and very useful help from the Spanish associations of banks. All of the ecosystem is fighting to avoid the big issues in Spain. So, if you're not doing something like that, consider it. And on a good news, I hope, I can tell you that's my bit. I've done it all. Yes? Okay, good. The cool cat now leaves. We'll see you later.
Thank you very much, Dario.